you downstairs so you can see some of that happened here. So this is all he dry flexed this, but water was actually coming down. Wow. And you can see it. You can still see, at the top, all of this was mildew. He had removed that. You can still kind of smell it. You can look.
Yeah, I was gonna say you smell it when you walk in.
You can still see the mildew up here. Like if I put the light, if you put light on here, you can see the water there. So every time it rains, water will come all through here.
So the place wasn't registered. It wasn't up to code. We couldn't. So when we went to even apply for our business license, to even get like our home license, to even try to work around all of these different issues, each point and step, we found something else that was wrong with this building. We've hired lawyers. Lawyers have taken our money and not reached out to the landlord. I mean, so many just abusive practices. So we lost like $10,000 in paying lawyers. They never actually did any due diligence, but take our money and then take the paperwork that and I'm still here. I've done DC pro bono. I've gone to council members, which I have a meeting next week with the council member, because honestly, we poured our life and time into this project, and now we're still sitting here. We have just been paying bills, like as a business, and not even sustaining our own like livelihoods. To make a dream come true for someone to rob us deliberately, because this man, he knew that this building wasn't properly licensed to rent for commercial or for real estate, and we end up leasing or renting the whole building under a 5-year lease. So we're in a contract, but with that you have to pay insurance, net 10, which is I found out, which is the worst thing that a business owner could get into. So annoyed.
And we didn't know, because we're new business owners. Never in your life sign up for any contract that's a net 10. Like, you're not even making the money. Before you make the money, you have to pay the city.
And they were renting a product to you that wasn't even a viable space.
So I asked, what does a person like me do under these circumstances when you have taken your life and put it on the line into someone else's hands?
And not only your life, but your life savings that you mentioned.
It is more than disheartening. Like, some days I don't even want to wake up, because it's so many things, so many bills, so many, but I'm like, man, I can't give up. I've made it this far. Like, I know.
We're so proud of you.
I didn't just make it this far just to, throw my life away, to be homeless, to be living in my car again, which I've been homeless. Like, so I started my catering business homeless, like over 10 years ago in 2009. Like, I was in an abusive relationship. I had a house, working for the law firm, and I had to check myself into my sister's place for the safety of my daughter and my own self, so that we could live, like, so I wouldn't be dragged down the hallway and beat in the eye, or, forced to go to work with black eyes. Like, I still have pictures. It's very vividly in my system. I've gone through so much, and I pulled myself out of so much. So it's like, how could I just give up now? I don't want to go live back in the shelter. It's not like I'm not working, or I don't have the potential, or not just the potential, the know-how. But when something is stripped from you, from someone who has, no care. He had 3 years. All that time we were paying him the money, he was taking shortcuts. We even paid to get the whole thing waterproofed. Instead of him letting the B-Dry people, I have the contracts, I have all the receipts where we paid these people to do the thing. He went in there, he locked us out of a space that we were paying rent for. And of course, we didn't know any of that.
Up there at the corner especially, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when we paid the people to come and to do the work, he started coming down here and covering up everything, like removing this, dry flexing this. None of this was done like this until he realized that we were, taking action to fix it ourselves.
Yeah, you can smell the mold.
But this is hazardous. Like, you can't open any type of business. And he knew that. You know, he knew all of this, and he covered it up until he couldn't cover it up anymore. And this is what we've been dealing with, you know, and still paying rent, paying taxes, paying bills on this space.
So this white stuff is called dryplex?
This is dryplex, yeah. And this doesn't solve the problem. The actual lady told him that this is a shortcut into not dryplex it, that would actually lock in the moisture, lock in the mold, and cause even more problems. She said that this place had to be like sumped out, a water thing built into, and they were going to guarantee all that. But then he came and, you know, tried to cover up. You can still see the boards where he took down that were like molded, wet, you know, to try to cover up what he didn't do properly. And then I'll show you where he locked us out, where he, you know, and I want to have the council member come too. But all of this stuff, like you can see, look, water from when it rained the other day. It's still coming through here. Look, the floor is still wet. This is all electrical. So he literally built a trench. He just screwed us. You know, all of this is still, you can look.
Is there something like that?
Like all that's wet.
I see all that.
All this is fresh water from this past rain.
Yeah,
And then one day I came down here and all of this was, I was walking in a puddle of water. I still have videos. So you can see this is dry lock. He freaking just, you know, took a shortcut and
if you got the
tried to cover it up.
Send that too.
Yeah, I have water videos. Like we used to walk back here, but all of this was like this much water that I would be in, up to my ankles.
Really?
From all of this, you know, the water comes through concrete. If you don't, concrete is porcelain, so it's not. And the people told us he was supposed to put some type of steel plate, like a structural plate, between the floor levels and the basement to secure, but he didn't do that. And he is also the architect and the owner of the building, so he, you know, he did these things knowing, and this is where he locked us out. You know, we invested our life into this for someone to lie and screw us over. And if you don't know, you know, like we didn't find this out, like I said, until a year and a half into us paying rent. It was a learning experience. It did. Remember I told you I had the structural engineer, building engineer, waterproofers.
So some of them were the ones telling you.
Yeah, they uncovered some of the stuff that I didn't know. They showed us where the entry of water was actually coming through, and I can actually show you where he kept trying to do work and cover things up, even on the outside.
Really?
You know, where he like tried to seal around the base, and which I'll show you outside too, as we walk around. So this would have been emergency exit, and it's also access to the building, because we end up just renting the whole building and using it, and then try to utilize it as commercial space to turn into a home business. So we could still run, but we couldn't do that because he didn't have the building permitted for residential or for commercial to lease. So he wasn't even, so we couldn't take him to landlord tenant court. Like we couldn't do any of those things because he wasn't even authorized to lease or he added this because this was an entry point where water was coming through, and he didn't do this until a year and a half into. You can see where he tried to cover up and put this black stuff around to seal and stop the water from coming in. He also like dug this up, added cement here so the water would stop coming through. That didn't help. We can go around this whole building and see where he covered it up. Like he did all of this.
So all that wasn't there before?
Nope. All of this around here is newly poured not concrete, but like sealer, that dryplex where he was trying to keep water out, but that's not fixing the root of the problem. Like, you can't take shortcuts, you know? In life, you can't take shortcuts because you'll end up with bigger issues like this.
How many years is it there now?
We got the space January 2020, and we're now in 2024.
So it's 4.5 years almost.
Yeah, that we invested time, money, skills. You can see where we uprooted this whole thing right here. He did this. He tried to act like he was fixing or helping us with the outside, and this just caused more damage.
Really?
Yeah.
So did some of the people that you talked to say that this caused more? Like,
yeah, because for one, this is a city project. Because this is the city has to do with the walk. Yeah, anytime it's sidewalk, the city is responsible for like the groundwater, whatever issues. So instead of him calling the city out, he tried to repair it. And I don't even think he got in contact with the city when he was doing this. But, you know, who knows? See, even here, when he added this stuff here, like all of this, like, you know, just taking shortcuts, and the water's coming through here. You can see, you know, if we go back downstairs, this is the same place of entry for the water on that wall where the water's coming through.
That is wild.
But somewhere in DC, it's legal because no one has done anything. I don't have a community. I don't have, like, no lawyers want to take this case. No one wants to help. No one sees any wrong. I've gone downtown numerous times. I've spent hours, days, DC tax, this, that, like, you know, just trying to figure out what does a person like me do, because I thought I was doing the right thing, paying the bills, showing up every day, doing the work, you know, doing all these different things, but clearly that wasn't enough. So I'm here today to ask the community, to ask the people, like, if you are a philanthropist, if you are a lawyer, you know, that has a heart, if you know of some type of resource, I've been trying to reach out to the mayor's office. I've talked to the mayor's liaison, but I can't get in contact with the mayor. I've sent letters to people. I'm in the process of sending letters to like council members because I really feel like this story has to get out, but I've never been the one to share, you know, my traumatic experiences, because honestly, I feel like no one cares. Like, I have, with the people that I've shared it with, I haven't gotten very far, you know, with the resources, people that I've paid, people that, you know, that's like, I just really don't know what to do. So I've kept quiet all this time and really suffered in silence. But now everything's on the line. Like, you know, we're still in the space, but we're not open. I can't run a viable functioning business out of there. So we had to lease my Eats place. We had to, you know, utilize other commercial kitchens to even to do events like 8th Street Festival. So all of these things, you know, cost, and people don't understand so much is on the business owner before you can even make a dollar, that sometimes it seems like it's no way out.
And also, like, most restaurants close within a year, you know? And it's like the fact that, number one, you've been able to still sustain yourself and build this beautiful space in spite of this person's horrible treatment towards you. Like, and also that you've been doing it in silence is like, I think that really just speaks to your character and to your like determination to sound your keynote. Yeah. You will still be the gift that you are, regardless of anybody else's poor treatment.
As she mentioned, if you are a lawyer or someone who is in contact with a lawyer's attorneys, anyone who's familiar with law, with the restaurant business and industry, with real estate, or as she mentioned, a philanthropist. And even if you're not a philanthropist, you can be a philanthropist of any size. If there's something you can give to this cause, to helping Shaleafa's Kitchen, if not open, at least recoup and recover. Anything can help to support a community member be able to stay afloat already working in collaboration with another business to continue to fulfill this dream in the meantime. But anything that you can do, anyone that you can suggest would make a difference. Chef K has such a wonderful soul and spirit. Hopefully you've gotten to glean that through today's share. All we ask is, at bare minimum, share this. Do the action part of being a community member.
Yeah, send it to the news. Yeah. Like, to the news, council members. Like, if you don't feel the need to donate $5, or share it with a friend, share it with a family member, or stop in, order some catering, schedule a cooking class, go to my website for some travel, like, support me in any form, you know. Yeah. Pitch a collaboration, like, that would be, come to events.
Book an event.
Any of those things. But definitely I just really want to get this story out about, you know, Shaleafa's Kitchen. Shaleafa'sKitchen.com. We have this story. We are still a functioning restaurant service, sustainability, fresh food. That is what matters. And I really want to bring a new light to vegan food, to good food, to healthy food in the community, and to providing a source of enlightenment, not just through food, but through education. And to really help other business owners. Like, owning is the big thing. Maybe you can't do it in DC, but definitely being aware of these contracts that you're signing, having spaces investigated, like investigating these landlords, what are their previous practices, like who they may have previously rented to, just trying to learn, because we learned so much even about one architect that he literally like abandons jobs, and he still has a job here in Washington, D.C., and he robbed us of $10,000. He started the plan at Shaleafa's. We got to a certain point because people, you have to work with other people once you're beyond your spectrum. Like, I'm not an architect. Like, yes, I can say, I want this booth here, or I want certain things designed, but you have to have someone else physically come in and outline and place how you want your restaurant done. This costs money. And then to give someone that, and then they not finish your structural plan with DCRA, and it's a time period that they have to respond, and then he disappeared off the face of the earth, like literally with our money, didn't finish the project. So then that in turn, we had to hire another architect, pay another $18,000, because now inflation went up because a whole 2 years passed. So I have a list of bills that we just were paying out, and Shaleafa still is not open, guys. Like, I want to be able to serve the community. I want to be able to give real food when it is a disparity of a food system, not just on Georgia Avenue, but throughout DC, we're lacking good food. Yeah, we have all of these like major places, but what is so many places that closed down pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, in the pandemic, that were local businesses like Sweet Samba and just so many places. That was another vegan place that I loved. And that business closed down due to similar reasons. Like, the landlord wanted to go up on their rent, and, you know, small businesses can't take $1,000 increase in their rent. Like, every year these businesses want to go up just because they see what's going on. Most of these places own the business. So they literally, it's a choice for them to increase your rent. Like, they have a choice, and they choose to rape the small business person. They choose to monopolize and push out people like myself. And they do that through these practices, you know, and I just wasn't even savvy to how this all works. And I'm still learning. And I mean, what is the mayor doing? Like, what is the city doing? Like, do they really want small business people like myself? Do they really want people that are from DC and that are doing their best to pull themselves up from nothing. My mom and dad were in and out of the system. I was raised by my grandparents. Like, what is the city doing for people who are really trying to do for themselves? I feel like nothing, because it's not even like I'm asking for a handout. Like, I've never asked for a handout in my life. I've never been on welfare. I've put myself through school, serving tables. Like, I took out a couple of loans. That's still on my back for school. I've never taken out a business loan. We're self-funded. Everything that has come, even in here, in this restaurant, it was a blessing. Agave Mexican Restaurant Corporation started before I got here, and they needed a chef. They needed a concept. And, this is an opportunity that came in the midst of me dealing with Shaleafa's Kitchen. And they said, hey, Chef K, we see what you're doing. We need a chef. Can you create a concept here? And that's what I've done.
These are vegan, gluten-free rolls, and 2 of us have celiac issues. And so
we're excited.
Very, very much so excited, because we've had the experience of having to be like, oh, so I just can't have any of these things, and all you want to offer me is a salad. So we're going to enjoy these rolls because
we're ready.
Ooh, we're ready. All right. Cheers. Cheers. And she's got a little dipping sauce here. Ooh,
that looks nice.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Do you guys see that? Do you see this?
Drippage.
The drippage. Wow. And everything is infused with agave. That is the spice here. A little extra zhuzh. Wow. That is really good.
Holy moly.
The spice that came with it too. Just a hint.
Holy moly.
Also lemonade.
Oh my God.
Biscuits ginger.
Oh, and it had ginger. Nice.
It had a punch.
Chef K's about to get all my money.
And it's vegan and gluten-free, okay? Reiterating that. Tastes like heaven.
Loaded with veggies.
Loaded. Do you see that? Ooh, look, broccoli falling out.
Y'all leave us alone so we can eat.
Bye.
But we've had to pour even more money into this project. And we're opening, but we're not a thriving business. Like, I'm thriving at heart because the light within, but really I'm dying inside because these bills and everything is killing me. Like, just the worry of even where I'm going to sleep tomorrow, or what, how I'm going to feed my daughter. She's in college, because I have to pay payroll tomorrow. That's not coming out of this restaurant. That's actually coming out of our pockets, out of our other businesses, which is also struggling, so just learning how to maneuver and be able to live as a business person is very difficult. And I never wanted to come to this point where I have to beg, or I have to ask, or I have to...
And you're not begging, you're creating awareness.
Yeah.
Because you're also educating during this process.
Right. Well, even just sharing my story. For me, it's hard, because I've never been the type of person to be like, oh my God, I'm a single mother.
Well, you're not a victim, you're a creative.
Yeah.
And you've also, I think part of this is, so often we go in, and our expectations of people often have to do with what we would do if we were in their shoes.
Right.
So we assume people will follow up with agreements as stated. That if somebody's renting a space, they're going to hold up their end.
Yeah.
And when they don't, it is very painful.
Yeah. No, it really is. And that's what my partner, he's like, you're just too nice. You're just so, and I'm like, I don't know any other way to be, like, that's just me. Yeah. So.
And I totally see this as stepping into your power. You're sharing your story, because silence is where we can be re-victimized. So the fact that you are articulating that I'm not a victim and I'm not going to be stepped on, sharing your story is power, because then someone else knows. All it takes is one other right person to know, or to get a hold, like you said, a news company, anything like that. Like, there is power in, as Jen says, winging your keynote, actually making your presence known, because that way you don't have to feel as alone. You're not suffering in silence. And then we can help carry the torch too. Now you have 3 more embers adding to your flame, now saying like, hey, we're now aware of this, and now we're going to share with our pond and help them grow an awareness to this too. So I hope in some part this feels a little less stressful and alone, because we're here to help you carry that.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was kind of like low to share this story, but it's a lot, and it's really traumatizing, and I just never knew really how to share this story or even where to begin, because honestly, this is a brief synopsis even still. But at least maybe someone could understand, and also it's so many things. So I appreciate everything that you've all done just listening to me today.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being you. You are loved. We are here for you.
Thank you, because it is
it's real.
No words. Yeah.
All of this while also building a new business.
Yes. And being a mom and a human, because we still have to balance, self.
And they can steal your money, but they can't steal your joy.
Yes, that's for sure, because I still have a little light inside.
And we are fanning the flame.
Yes.
Yes.